The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer and sports talk and a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering room. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get in. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Tonight's show is brought to you, as always, by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420SEAT over there at SeatGeek.com and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Tonight, we are the first guest of the year on the 5th day of January. One half of the truth that was supposed to be here, but one half of Brutally Honest Sports. Friend of the show, Aaron Riley. Aaron, Happy New Year. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, Happy New Year. I'm doing good. Yeah, it's I tell you this all the time, broken record, but it seems like every year goes faster, and I'm like, damn, it's just like you look around, you're like, and then the holidays are like even faster, I think. But
Here
we are.
It's funny, like it was kind of a weird one because the 19th was a Friday, and I didn't really do a whole bunch in between then and today. I had to go back to work officially for the first time. But I was in and out of the office. It was actually kind of nice because there was nobody really there, so I could kind of come and go and do things I please. It's actually kind of good. I kind of miss those old days already. Only a day into it. Wish it could be like that more often. Actually, probably get more accomplished. But yeah. So anyways, Aaron, as you sit in front of you, got your Penn State Nittany Lions bowl season's all done. They played in the Pinstripe Bowl, and they were successful, and bowl season's done. You still got obviously the college football playoffs to finish up. There's some pretty good games coming up, but we won't break those down at all because it's not what we really do here. My thoughts. I did a show on Saturday. I talked about it a little bit, but this college football bowl season, it wasn't captivating for the right reasons. There was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, going to LSU. Then you have the NIL guys, and you have guys opting out, and then you have teams that aren't really playing guys. And is college football? I think we can agree that it's broken or not, or it's cracked for sure anyways. But is this something that can get repaired? Because right now, just the way everything's going with the NIL money and all, like I just described, can it be repaired, do you think?
I mean, I think it could be. As much as I love it, and I absolutely do love every part of it, even throughout the midst of how broken and upside down it might be right now, I still think it's great. Like it's weird that, I mean, some of these programs, you can't say every program, but Indiana's having so much success with bringing in transfer quarterbacks. And that's what Penn State's going to do this season for the first time. So it's like, now it's kind of hitting home for me because I see everybody else kind of do it. Now I'm like, well, now we're doing it. So it's like, I have to embrace it, which I don't love that. I like, it's almost like baseball. I like guys coming up through the minor leagues and boom, that's you draft these guys, you groom these guys, and then those are your guys at least for 4 years or 3 maybe nowadays. But I think they need to put some type of regulation. I think we talked about this maybe when all this was going haywire in the early days of NIL, but especially the transfer portal. Sometimes I sit there and do think like should these guys be getting paid? Like some of these quarterbacks are making millions in college, and like they're getting handed a world-class education pretty much everywhere you go. And then on top of that, now they're making millions. We've gone from one extreme to the other. I mean, I think you and I can both probably sit here and think, Georgia players, Alabama, I mean, even USC back with like Reggie Bush and those guys and Leinart, they were probably getting some pretty paycheck.
I think they were doing okay.
They weren't struggling financially. They weren't worried about eating at the cafeteria every night. Let's put it that way. And then, but now it's I don't know. Like, should I let it bother me? Probably not, because it doesn't affect me. But it does a little bit. It's like you got some guys that the backup, like the long snapper or something. They're not making anything, and then they're looking at the quarterback making $3 million. It's just the way the world works, unfortunately. But now you took something. I don't want to say as pure as college football because, like I just said, it's been compromised for a while. It's been, it's corrupt. It's just now we know about it. And on top of that, the transfer thing is getting a little like, I think you should be able to transfer once or twice or the amount of like guys that are transferring almost every year now. And you got guys that have transferred 6 times in 4 years. Like, I can't get behind that. It's just a little too much, but
it's been the perfect storm for the transfer portal to be the disaster that it is, because you had athletes because they lost some eligibility years and they got them back because of the COVID years and everything else. And just the way it's all worked out. And to me, I agree with you. Like the portal, once, maybe twice you can change, but this going year in, year out, finding a new team. Now there's just not enough spots for all these kids. And that's a big problem. So a lot of these kids are getting promised to get something, maybe not NIL money, but they're promised to get play a little bit, and then they don't get to play because it gets taken by another spot, and they end up shit out of luck finding a place to play. And I think that's a bigger problem. I mean, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. But just how guys are just transferring wherever they go all willy-nilly, and it just doesn't seem to matter. And then you on the other hand, there's always 2 sides or 3 sides to every story. You can't blame a kid for leaving if he takes off for what Lane Kiffin did leaving Ole Miss. So if the coaches can do it, and Kiffin's not the first guy to do it, these coaches leave year in, year out when these coaches go to these parents' houses and people's houses and say, yeah, I'm here for your kid. I'm here. And then they get another dollar sign added to his paycheck. Say, I'm out of here. So why can't the kids do the same thing? And it's so the NCAA's got to, like, I don't think the NCAA even rules college football. I don't think anybody does, but something's got to get done where they can put a rein on this thing. So I'm not against a kid making money at all. Like I think it's long overdue, and I think it's long overdue that like you said earlier, the playing field a little bit level, because now when the playing field's a little bit more level, the Alabamas and Georgias of the world aren't winning titles. So that kind of goes to show you something a little bit there. I'm not saying that that's the only reason why they're winning titles, but it was a little bit easier for Mr. Nick Saban to win some titles back then. And this is conspiracy theory Brent talking. As soon as the NIL money was getting dumped around everywhere else, Saban said, "You know what? I think I'm out." And I don't think that's a coincidence.
I mean, you can't watch the sport and digest like all the content about it and be educated in it and not think that way. I think you're exactly right. I mean, the timing of when he walked away, and like you said, that's the weirdest thing too, is like who is running we don't even know who's running this. I mean, the inmates are running the asylum, but we don't even know who should be running the asylum, because like you said, the NCAA, like, what do they even do anymore? And then on top of that, whoever it is, like, let's say it is the NCAA, they have to love the fact that there's parity now. Like the fact that, everybody would make the criticism, oh, college sucks because it's Alabama, it's Georgia, it's Clemson, whoever, Ohio State, the top, yeah. That was it. And now if you are seeing like the Ole Misses and the obviously Indiana, who's like unprecedented and things like that, but for the sport, that's probably a good thing. So I don't know.
It creates more parity for sure. Like I don't know. It's just because you got 4 teams that might be going and getting something that they haven't won either haven't won one at all or haven't won one a long time, like Miami. It's so I think it's leveled it out. Do I like it? No. Is it? But they had to do something to make it level. Like like you said earlier on, all these guys are making a ton of money. Another problem that college has, and this shows up a lot during the bowl season, because a lot, like, the games don't matter. Let's not kid ourselves. It's just something for us to watch on a Saturday, sitting on our couch and wearing our fart catchers, and it's just what it is. It's just you're just sitting around. Like USC played in the Alamo Bowl, and it's TCU on the 30th, I think it was, the last Tuesday night, and they had a bunch of, and I'm not going to sit here and name names, like I don't know a bunch, because but a bunch of guys weren't playing. And I think that's a major problem too. And like you said, Mekhi Lemon, he won the Biletnikoff Award as the top receiver, and he's not playing because he's going to the NFL. Well, what does that say about what he cares for? And he's not the only guy. Like, there's many guys who do it. They don't want to get hurt in their last game in a meaningless game. Well, most of these guys play meaningless games all season long. Like, let's not sugarcoat this. Most teams don't have a hope in hell to win a national championship. They're playing for their school. They're playing for something in the pros. They're playing for something. So what's one more game to these guys to maybe help out a teammate just to get him over the hump? Like, what's it to say that this a wide receiver wouldn't improve this guy's stats? Or because these stats, they still matter on the coaching resume, because all of a sudden USC went 9-4 instead of 10-3. You know, a 10-3, a double-digit record looks a lot better when you're going through when you're going down the record every year. It just does. It's only one game. So these guys who don't even care about the team they're playing for and not knowing what they're doing next year, I think that's a major problem too.
Yeah. I've heard every angle of this, and like, it's not that I don't understand it from the player's perspective, because you're looking at the bigger picture. Like, okay, what's next? Like, there's a running back on Penn State, K-Tron Allen. He actually suited up, but I don't think they played him because of the weather. And I actually kind of believe that, because, but the backup running, or the other guy that's going to get drafted, Singleton, he didn't draft. He was like, I'm not playing. And there was plenty of examples. Like you said, there was plenty of guys on USC. There's plenty of guys throughout the college landscape that are getting looked at and getting, they know they're getting scouted, and they're probably going to get drafted somewhere along the line. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the old school players, they would have, died to play one more game. And it's almost like they forgot that brotherhood that was college football, where it's like you're playing for the guy next to you. You're playing for the university. I mean, that's another thing. Like, these universities shell out, all these resources for these kids and free education, and now they're getting paid on top of it. And now you're seeing more opt-outs, more than you ever have. So it's I don't know. I understand why, because these agents are in their ear, their parents are in their, if you go out there and blow your ACL out, then. But
what if you don't? Like, what if you don't? And what if you have a game for the ages against a team that's really good, and all of a sudden you go up 3 or 4 draft spots, or you go, like, it can happen. Like, it's every game's important, and every game that you play is important, else they wouldn't play them. They wouldn't play at all.
That's something if you're going to allow these kids to make millions, and you're going to allow them to transfer all over the place, and now you're not going to allow them to play in a bowl, because how many people tune out of the bowl games now? Because if the players don't care, then the fans don't. It's just a domino effect. And like you said, I mean, it's just a matter of, like, if you go out there and play well, I mean, you could boost your draft stock. Like, it's sad, but now it almost has to be in these players' contracts. I feel like that, okay, if you're making that much money, you're playing every game that you're healthy enough to play. I don't care if it's the Alamo Bowl, the Pop-Tart Bowl, any of that.
Because you got to think the sponsors aren't happy at all when they see these guys, and then all of a sudden there's no one in the stands, and then there's nobody watching the games, because these like Pop-Tarts or Kellogg's or whatever the hell it is, they put out a ton of dough for these games. And so the networks aren't making money, and on it goes. I mean, the networks are getting paid from the sponsors, but if the ratings aren't there, then the sponsors are going to be like, well, what are we paying for? So, like, the trickle-down effect, like Jim always says, the fan of the van, the business. And so the business end of things kind of broken in that respect too. Like, it's, if you're going to be a business, you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Do it or don't. And college football just can't find a way to not trip on themselves every which way they go. The game itself, like the game on what was it, on Saturday night with Georgia and Ole Miss, was a fantastic football game. And so in general, like you're a Penn State guy, you watch and you live and die with every game, and I watch all the USC games and everything you can. And College Game Day, we've talked about that a lot of times. We've been together on the show. So in general, the game itself is fine. But the more that the players and the organization start to whittle it down, how much more can this withstand? Because people will get turned off by it. They will, because that was the big thing with college football. It was, like you said, it was pure because the players cared. You knew these guys are going to be here for 3 and 4 years, sometimes 5 if they're really dumb, and But when fans don't, college, it's a lot different than the pros, because you'll be a fan of your college team forever. But now kids who are young, they're more fans of a player than they are of a team. And so if this kid's bouncing around from team to team, you're going to lose that direct fan base. I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. The fact that, like, I always looked at college football where, like, there was loyalty, where the NFL, it's like, okay, you get drafted by a team. Obviously, you don't have a choice. A lot of these guys get to pick, okay, I'm going to go to Michigan. I'm going to go to USC. I'm going to go to Texas. And, like, there's a pride within that. I think that, you miss in the NFL. You just don't see, like, these guys just want to get to the NFL. And they probably pray that they don't go to the Jets or somewhere awful like the Browns or something. But outside of that, it's like, okay, just give me a spot. And then, like, college, yeah, like you said, these guys would. It's just the camaraderie, like the tradition in college football is so much better than what the NFL can. I mean, they have to almost fabricate some of these rivalries. Like it's just the fact that you're kind of stripping, and now the conferences have gotten so big that like Penn State and Ohio State won't play for 4 years. Well, I mean, whoop-de-doo, no one cares outside of Ohio State because they'll rub it in every time. And they'll beat our ass every time. But it's the fact that like you're changing things up. Like watch, there'll be a year where what is it, like Notre Dame USC? That's like a classic.
It's gone now. 100 years in, it's done.
Yeah, and it's just like that's what I almost have to commend baseball for, because I know they took some games out of the division. Like, you're not playing your division opponents 8 million times a year anymore, but now you're playing every team at least once, which I think it just makes it a little bit more interesting. I don't think it's watered down. It's like, okay, you'll see the Yankees play the Phillies or whoever. It doesn't matter. Just teams you never see. You won't see them for a couple of years. Now it's every year, and that adds fun to it. And with college, they've kind of like watered down the schedules. They've watered down the conferences. I think, isn't there like 2 teams in the pack, or it's like the Pac-2 or something? It's just when they let all this happen, there was like it just opened the floodgates for just everything, and now people are probably looking around like, what the hell did we do? But how do we fix it? Like, it's so far downhill. How do you push it back up?
Well, now that they've had the expanded college football playoff, there are 12 teams now, and I think that's kind of hurt everything, because now teams are jockeying their schedule because they don't want to have a late loss, because that's early in the voters' mind. Okay, well, if we're going to lose, let's lose in week 1 or week 2. Let's not lose in week 12 or 13, and then the voters are going to remember that. That's part of the reason why the Notre Dame USC game went away, is because USC didn't want to play Notre Dame at USC in November, which they always did when they went back and forth year to year. It was when it was at Notre Dame, it was in October. When it was at USC, it was Thanksgiving weekend. So USC opted out. So, well, we don't want to lose that game because that might cost a college football playoff spot. So the playoff, which is actually making a ton of money, has actually hurt rivalries, and it's hurt the game a little bit because of it. It's so twisted and turned, and it's the business end of things, because there's so much money that go to these coaches that if they do win. Like Kiffin, he made I think $1 million on Saturday night by sitting at home watching the game, because he got a guaranteed payout from LSU, because he said, okay, well, I'm not going to leave now. Like, I'll leave when the season. They said, no, if you go now, we'll pay your guarantees if you win. So he's made him, I think, $1.5 million in the 2 playoff wins that Ole Miss has got. So what are we doing? So you can't give the kids shit for taking a payday. Like, you can't. Like, you just can't say that. If a guy's not even coaching, if he's making $1.5 million for a team he hasn't even coached yet, like, what are we doing?
It's absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, like when you talk about things like that, it just goes and goes. Like, there's so many things you can look at. And then another thing, when you were touching on the bowl season, I mean, how many of these coaches jump ship before their team? Like Kiffin hasn't, he's not coaching Ole Miss. He's already in LSU. Yeah. And like, I kind of hope they win it all. And I don't know.
He'll make another $2 million.
That's what I mean. He wins no matter what. That's the shitty part of it. Because I want to see him not stick it to him, because I'm sure he's like, whatever. He's on to greener pastures or whatever. But at the same time, it's like we won that without, he's such an egomaniac. I haven't liked that guy ever, but he would say it's, I did that anyway. Like, he would take ownership for that probably. But all these college coaches, I mean, with exception, I'm sure, to a few, I'm not going to say they're all the same, but they're all kind of psychopath. And like, honest to God, Brent, I think about it all the time, where I'm like, I don't know how these college coaches are mentally, sane, because you're recruiting 24/7. So then you got to think about that. Now you're thinking about who's going to leave my program nonstop. Okay, who are we bringing in? How much money are we spending? Like, the amount of responsibility, and that's just
it's crazy.
The business end of it. Like, I'm sure there'll be guys that jump ship to the NFL just because it's less bullshit. Like, and now you've put 10 things on a guy that had to think about 3 before. So it's craziness.
It's absolutely insane what these guys put themselves through, and they're so raw about everything. It's nuts. We'll flip sides a little bit. Black Monday NFL season ended last night. Pittsburgh once again got in the playoffs, skin to their teeth. Mike Tomlin's going to survive another day, or will he? I don't know. 4 coaches got let go so far: Stefanski in Cleveland, Pete Carroll in Vegas, Gannon in Arizona, and Morris in Atlanta. No surprises, but is it their fault that their teams stink? And what do you consider a successful season? Like if you go 8-9 or 9-8, who cares? Like it's not a big deal. Like what did you expect? Like did anybody think that Atlanta was going to win Super Bowl this year? Probably not. So what's the like? What are these GMs and what are these coaches and what are these owners? What do they expect? And when you go into a season with not enough quarterbacks in the league for every team, and I think that's a major problem in the National Football League. A lot of these teams, they don't have the horses for a coach to even succeed. So the coaches are dead men walking before the season even starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Pete Carroll one to me is a prime example of that. I mean, he got handed like one of the worst rosters, if not the worst, up there with the Jets and maybe the Browns and whatnot. I mean, what have you. But, yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to go in there with – I mean, Geno Smith was horrible. Then you had Kenny Pickett. Like, you just don't have a guy that at the quarterback position. On top of that, like, they just have nothing going for him. I mean, let's just call it what it is, and then you're going to fire – I mean, Pete Carroll's a Super Bowl winning coach. That's like I'm not saying he's the best coach ever.
I mean, it's time for him to go. He's 80 years old, for Christ's sakes. I mean, it's almost time. But yeah, like it's.
I don't know if you inserted any like maybe Kirk Cinetti because he's Kirk Cinetti right now, but just because he takes Indiana out of left field and puts them in the. But it's just like how are you supposed to succeed there? It's funny, you bring up. Because I didn't even hear about the who was it? Oh, the Falcons. Yeah, I didn't hear about that one. But I mean, you look at these teams, the Browns, like these are all just bad franchises right now, though. In general, like when's the Cardinals were good? What was it, like 15 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl? I mean, they haven't been good since then. Like none of these places that fired their coach have found the way to win in recent history. So when you cut a guy loose, I mean, the Browns stuck with Stefanski for a while. I mean, whatever. I don't. That might be good for them, might not. But I don't think that's a head scratcher. But like Pete, I don't know. Pete Carroll's probably a pain in the ass to deal with. Maybe that was part of the problem on a daily basis. But you mentioned it. I mean, I'm shocked the Jets hung on to what's his name, Aaron Glenn. I mean, they just every year they fire their coach, but he won't make it probably through next year. And they're back to square one. And it's just. I don't know. Some of these franchises are so broken that I don't know who you can bring in to fix it, and if at all. I guess the Bears are the anomaly because they were broken for a while, and they brought in like Ben Johnson, and they're off to the races. But we'll see. Watch, maybe next year they'll be back to mediocre.
Well, they end up having a quarterback and they're being half decent, and I think that's the biggest thing. If you don't have a quarterback, you're screwed right off the bat. Like no, it's like in hockey. If you show me a good team or a good coach, I'll show you they have a good goalie, right? And football is the same way with a quarterback. And there's just not enough good quarterbacks in the league. There's just not. And then they overpay these guys. We've talked about before how these guys get overpaid just because, well, I guess we got to give this guy money because there's nobody else any better than this. So they got a bunch of B's and C's that they got to pay. Well, that's what the going rate is for a quarterback. And then you have the same guys year in, year out who do anything. And like it's just tough to watch sometimes how these coaches get recycled. It's always the coach's fault because you can't fire 80 players, right? You can't. That's just the way it is, and you never get away from it, no matter what sport it is. But to keep reloading year in, year out, how do you build up any kind of a franchise that if you had a new coach every 2 or 3 years, how you getting free agents to go there? Like, how are you getting anybody to go and join your team if you like, oh, well, we're going to suck again because we're going to this team. So why would anybody go when a team's rebuilding their coaching staff every year? It's got to be almost impossible.
There's, like you said, I mean, the quarterback position, like if the Chiefs didn't hit on Mahomes, who knows? They were mediocre for a long time. The Bills were, before Josh Allen, the Bills were like an atrocity. I mean, it's just like you said, I mean, you point to a good coach or somebody we think is a good coach. That's another thing. Like if you put some of these coaches, everybody was so high on Dan Campbell on Detroit. Now he loses, like Ben Johnson leaves and the Aaron Glenn leaves. And now look at them. Like they didn't make the playoffs. So it's like there's so many aspects to this. I mean, it comes like there's so many people on the staff that make an impact. Like, and some of these franchises, like you see New England, they fall off for a little bit and then they get right back on the wagon. The Jets, they can't find their way into a paper bag. They just, it doesn't matter what they do.
The thing that makes me laugh about the Jets and the Giants, and then you start talking about the Rangers and the Islanders, and then you get into the Mets and you get into the Yankees. Maybe it's New York. Maybe it's New York. Maybe that might be the most overrated sport. And I'm a Yank guy, all the crap I got over my shoulder here. Maybe New York's the most overrated sports city that there is. And there's a expectation that's way too high that never gets met. Because what's New York sports done in the last 15 years? Nothing. Like when was Eli Super Bowls with the Giants?
Yeah, like I think I don't think it was past. Was it past 2010? Maybe they got an 11 or something like that. With their last
right
one?
Around there. Okay.
Yeah.
So other than that, what have they done? Nothing.
Yeah, 15 years is probably.
The Jets have been awful for how long? The Rangers haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1994. The Islanders since 1984, and on it goes. Well, the Mets were 86, and then and they aren't like it's an overrated sports city. And why people have this heightened expectation for their two football teams, that's a mystery to me. They've been terrible more often than not, especially the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to, because actually Joey and I get in this argument all the time about Penn State because he'll tell me they're not a blue blood, and I say, yeah, I agree, but I'll throw a car reference out there just because I'm in the cars and thing. Mercedes-Benz slogan is the best or nothing. And I'm like, how can you hate that? It's just such a good slogan. Like, I think the Yankees should live by that because, I mean, they have the most World Series. Like, if I'm like Steinbrenner and I'm like, look, we're not playing this game to win the AL East. Like that, maybe that's the Orioles thing or the Rays thing or the Red Sox, whatever. We're the Yankees. I think if you're the Jets, you probably do have to lower your expectations because it's like, look at the track record over decades. Like, we're not talking the last 5-10 years. This is like,
no, this is what they are.
Yeah. But I think you have a place to go from there instead of – I think some of these coaches go in there and they're like, we're going to win like right away. And I'm like, yeah, at a place like that, you have to learn how to win because no one knows how to win around that place. Like it's something they don't know what it is. And that's the thing about like I thought Saleh had them – I'm not saying he was ever going to win it all, but they were respectable and decent under him. Ever since they got rid of him, it's back to just – I mean, they're in the top 5 of the draft every year. They're no one even cares about. No one talks about the Jets. At least when they had Saleh, they're like, okay, if they get a piece or two, maybe they'll figure it out. But like on the Mets side, yeah, it's been a long time. It's the same thing there. Like they've just, I don't know if it's a New York problem. It's just, it's because I like the fact that they're like, let's go for it all the time. Like if I don't want to be a fan of a team that's like, okay, let's try and go 8-4 in college. Like that's. Like Nebraska gets excited about that. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'd never want to be in that position. That sucks. But
yeah, you don't normally play to get into the Pop-Tart Bowl or even the Pinstripe Bowl or whatever it might be. Like it's to and a lot of these college get back there. A lot of these colleges they just it's really strange when you're on the outside looking in that they just follow their like they want to win their rivalry game. Like if Michigan beats Ohio State, good enough. That's great. And everything after that's bonus. And like, it's almost bigger than winning a national championship. And as bizarre as that sounds, that's the way it is. And you go to these smaller schools who have a rivalry and how it's big. That's one good thing that there is still about college football, and that's getting lost in the translations. These rivalry guys, because a lot, like you said earlier, a lot of guys like they grow up in Pennsylvania, they want to go to Penn State, and they want to beat Ohio State. Whereas now you got a kid from Miami because he gets a few bucks. He's going to go to play for Penn State. He doesn't care what team they're playing. He doesn't. The rivalry means nothing to him. He's had to learn 4 different fight songs in his 4-year college career. That's not what it should be about. And then that translates into the pros. Like you see these guys opting out and transferring all the time. Get back to that. What does an NFL GM think of that guy? Or an NFL coach or NFL ownership? They go, okay, that guy couldn't commit for 1 year at college how's he going to commit to us? And if things go a little bit sideways, if we're having a bad year and he's in his contract year, what's he going to do? Is he going to sit out the back half of the year so he doesn't get hurt? Like,
exactly that. And I'm not trying to, like I say this every time I come on this show, but I'm not trying to make it about Penn State. I know
once so
I know how, and especially this year because they had that skid and they fell apart, and it was like, oh my God, they're horrible. As soon as that started happening, I know for a fact, and I'm sure it happens even with good teams, but for a fact, everybody was calling their players like, hey, next year come to come to Ohio State, come to Michigan, come to USC, wherever it is, because these guys mentally check out. Once you lose because they lost 3 games. I mean, once they lost those 2 games, I'm sure some guys checked out already. You lose to UCLA at the time; it was the worst team in the Power 4. But on top of that, you lose that 3rd game and there's no chance of a national championship. And you hear, oh, Ohio State's on the line. We're going to pay you, $1.5 million more than what you'd make here. Because Penn State was one of the last schools to say we're going to go NIL. Like they didn't. And I like that about them. I was like, that's cool, but we're going to get probably steamrolled by everybody now. But, I'm such a class or I don't know how to explain it. Just there's a pride. I enjoy that more than the dollar bills. But I mean, yeah, sure, I want my team to win, but that's such a circus within itself. And like you said, Brent, I mean, I'm sure some teams don't care. Like if you're the Cardinals and you saw a guy transfer 4 times in 4 years, but you're like, okay, that guy's going to change my franchise, you'll go for it because you know how it is. It's all about the business and putting asses in the seats. But if you're a team I feel like the Packers are a team that have a lot of credibility and things like that. They're probably looking at that guy like, we'll win without you, we'll lose with we'll win with you and lose with you, whatever.
Yeah, you just gotta think what's going through these guys' heads, and it's brought up at a young age now. Kids that go from team to team, they don't play for their community anymore. It's just the way things are. You're a commodity from the age of 10 now, and that's just the way it's too bad. It's the way it is. Skip over to baseball a little bit, Aaron. You were talking about when you were mentioning a little bit what we're going to talk about tonight. And you said the Mets aren't spending any money and the Yankees aren't spending any money, and you go up and down. The only team that's really done anything so far is, once again, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, there's been some guys signed here and there. Do you think this is more about teams saying, well, there's impending doom coming up in about 12 short months when the labor, when their agreement is done. So we better not get stuck in some contracts. I don't know the ins and outs about how the contracts work. If they do come up with something different, I don't know. I haven't read up on it. But is it that they don't want to get stuck with some contracts because of the new deals that are coming up? Or is it just a fact that why are we going to spend any money when we're not going to beat the Dodgers or we're not going to beat whoever? What's the point? Why would we go out and spend $35 million on a pitcher when he might get us 4 more wins, but that still doesn't get us into the promised land by any means?
Well, I think on the Mets front, because that one really comes to my mind because they let Diaz go. Obviously, Pete Alonso go. They were shopping Lindor, which is who do you have left after that? I don't know. But I think this it's almost like the Mets owner, Steve Cohen. Cohen. He fell in love with the spending money and going to get I forgot they had Soto. That's what I mean. They were so irrelevant last year that you forget he's even on that team. But it's one of those deals where he kind of saw the blueprint of, okay, let's spend money. We're going to buy a World Series. Look what the Dodgers are doing. And he tried it and he rolled the dice and it didn't work. And now when they brought in that GM, who was with the Brewers for a while, I don't even know if he was their GM, but he's used to playing small ball because you're in Milwaukee and you don't have those resources. It's almost like the movie Moneyball. You're trying to capitalize on wins, from guys that are making the fraction of what these superstars are making. And now I don't know, because a lot of people speculate that Steve Cohen got that casino going, that he's like, all right,
got what I wanted. He had some insider trading, and that's it.
Forget the Mets. Yeah, they don't mean shit anymore. But or is it just he's like, you know what? We spent money, we lost. We're gonna try and play small ball. But I mean, you're gonna have a hard time packing a stadium the fact that the financial commitment's been so crazy lately that. I mean, if he sees that stadium a quarter full most of the season, he's going to be pissed, and he's going to probably come knocking on the GM's door like, what are we doing? where the GM's probably being told by Steve Cohen, we lost with spending money. Like it's a Mets thing to do because now they're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. And like, are they going to go back to spending money because this season they're not going to, I mean, unless all the stars align. I mean, looking at their roster, what do they have? Like, they lost everything that was good pretty much.
They're worse this year than they were, this year than they were last year, just on roster wise. I mean, you got to replace Alonso and Diaz out of the back end. Like, it's just the way it is. And like to spend that much money on Soto and then give up, that's insane to me.
That's the thing.
Like that much money at 51 million bucks a year, wasn't it? And then to say the rest are go, that's it. I guess I'm done spending. Or and like you say what you want about Soto, but is that the perfect situation for Soto? Because now he don't got to win. No pressure on him. Because look at the rest of my team. Because I think Soto, there's a reason why he was on X amount of different teams over X amount of years, instead of the Nationals holding on to him to maybe win, or maybe the Padres holding on to for another couple of years because they could have had him for another year and a half, and they gave up on him. So maybe it's like the guy's a bit of a nozzle, so let's just get rid of him. And now maybe Soto is in a perfect position. I'm getting paid, and now my owner's not going to spend any money. This is perfect. I don't got to win. Perfect.
It just surprises me because Steve Cohen comes in here and he's like, we're going to do whatever it takes to win. It's almost like political figures, they say whatever they want and they get elected. And it's like, okay, now the glass is half empty because, you got everything you wanted and nobody cares anymore. Like you're already in a position of power. Like he owns the Mets. He's not going to go anywhere if they lose. He's not going to go anywhere if they win. But that is such a middle finger to the fans. I feel like, because, they were used to the Will
Ponds.
Yeah. Not spending any money and not caring. And it's like, oh, this is, Steve Cohen put a ignited life in these fans. And now you're looking at it and it's like, we're not going to spend money and they're not going to win. And just because you spend money doesn't guarantee anything, obviously, but they were, they were in the World Series or they
went to game 6 against the Dodgers in 24.
Yeah. 24. Yeah. They're in the NLCS. And it's like, that's pretty close. And now you've retracted since then. And now you're going to take another step back. If I'm a Mets fan and I have season tickets, I'm like, yep, let's get rid of those because you don't see an effort. And I don't want to hear that small ball thing because like the Dodgers, when they don't win, they don't just say, forget
it. That's enough. We tried.
Good enough. Even the Yankees, I mean, they're not winning it, but they're at least staying about where they're at. I mean, yeah, I know they've come down a little bit, but they're not going, from 100 to 0 like the Mets are. And it's just so, I mean, if I'm a Mets fan, I'm really I'm defeated before it starts, and that's a damn shame for them. So,
do you think that's all part of it? Because that Cohen, he's actually got 14 or 15 billion in the bank, like actual cash dollars. Do you think that this is once again conspiracy theory Monday? But is it possible that he had this casino deal coming, or he knew something was coming? Grease some pockets on the inside. Now I'm getting a casino out there in Queens, and it might cost me X amount of billions of dollars to get this team. But then if I spend X amount per year, I'm going to make that back on a casino because casinos in general don't lose money. There's a reason why those buildings in Vegas are as big as they are. And it's not because of the room rates. It's not, right? So do you think that maybe there was some insider trading that Cohen knew back in 2020 that there was a casino deal on the horizon? And he goes, well, I just got to spend a little bit because I'm going to make a lot over the years. But it's greed and it sounds ridiculous. But there's a good possibility that could have happened.
I think that and your other idea kind of light bulb moment in my head where maybe he is one of these guys that's paranoid. It's crazy to think like you and I could probably go to the watering hole and we're going to go in the little casino machine down there and we'll mess around. And Steve Cohen might not gamble even a fraction of his worth on this team because he's thinking about this. Like you said, what is I don't know if it's the player, what's that whole thing where MLB is coming to a fork in the road? Is it the players agreement or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe he is not only the casino thing, maybe he did this casino thing because he's like, well, maybe I'll sell the effing team when if this goes belly up in a little bit. But it's like at the same rate, I mean, he could be just covering his behind. Like maybe he's just like punting on this season. Like he's like, you know what? This risk is not worth it for 1 year. We'll see what happens when the players' agreement gets shooken out, and then we'll go from there. Because I don't know. I haven't really seen it a lot. I mean, the Phillies are still. I'm trying to think about all the teams that spend money. I mean, the Orioles just signed Pete Alonso, which was like groundbreaking. I mean, it's like who saw that coming? And then, but then you see the Mets. Maybe it's just a philosophy and ownership. Like this season is shot. Like we're preparing for the worst. Maybe Steve Cohen's that type of guy. Who knows?
It's just like how much money do these guys need? And like, I mean, $1 million, $1 million. But if you got 14 billion, like how much do you need? Like, if your grandkids spend all that money, then that's bad parenting. Like, you just wonder what the end process is. And like the Mets fans had such high hopes when Cohen signed on, and they were the second or third worst team in baseball from June on last year. And that's not a small sample size. I know he listened to Michael Kay show, and like he couldn't believe it how like historically bad they were for a team that spends that much money. So maybe Cohen's like, you know what, I spent that much, and what did I get out of it? So why not spend half of that and get the same thing or better, or maybe a better result? Because like it's astonishing how teams go from one level to the other that quickly. Like to be a World Series contender, 1 out away and they lost the eventual world champion, to be the one of the worst teams. Like we're talking as bad as the freaking Colorado Rockies almost, to get to that level of bad overnight. Basically, that's hard to do. Like that's hard to do. And you can point to one guy, and you shouldn't do this because it's a team game. But there was one guy who wasn't on that team in 2024, and that's Mr. Juan Soto. So that maybe he's like, oh, what did I get? Because that deal, no one's touching that deal. He's a Met for life. Like it's about a year ago right now when that deal was signed, and it ain't looking good in the first year.
I don't know. I really that's because I thought when this whole Mets thing went down, it was bad for baseball because now it's going to be the haves and the have-nots, and it still is. It's just now the Mets have kind of taken themselves out of the haves. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see how, because I remember Bryce Harper basically like, which I thought was. I mean, I'm not a Harper guy anyway, but when he went at Manfred, who I don't like Manfred either, but he's the commissioner. And he basically tells him, like, F off to that extent about, talking about our salaries and the owners and everything. Yep. It's like, that's not your position, in my opinion. You're not even the best player in baseball. And even if you were, that's just classless. But, I mean, I'll be curious to see how this shakes out. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, Brent. I wish they would model it after. I've said this from the beginning of doing these things, is like they should model it after the NHL, where you have a floor and you have a ceiling. Yeah. And I just, baseball is probably the worst sport at parity. I mean, it truthfully is. Even college football now has found a way.
Baseball, the inmates definitely run the asylum, like you said before. The players said, we are not taking a cap. But if I'm an owner, I'm going to say, okay, then we won't play. Like some teams, you make nothing because some teams will be better off not playing. And that's because like teams, I'm not saying they're losing money, but if you don't got to pay somebody, they're still selling this, that, and the other thing, and the apps are still going on, and they have their other businesses. Like it's if you're owning any business, I'm not taking a pay cut. Well, you're not playing for me. You're not playing here anymore. And I think it's that simple. Really, like once the labor deal's up, what are they going to say? You have to pay me. There might be guaranteed money. I try to stay out of that. But if the owner says, I'm not doing that anymore. But the thing is there's always one owner, and the reason why a cap and a floor works you have to have a cap and a floor is to control the owners, because to control each other, because if without a cap, this guy would just keep outspending everybody, and then what? So they're like that. That's why a cap and a floor system works, because it controls the owners, because the owners can't control themselves, and that's the major problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I often thought about that, like NHL maybe. I mean, I'm sure it's I mean, there's guys, if you own a cricket team, anything. But I've always thought, like, okay, even if you had a cap and a floor, and I always wanted to ask you or
Yeah.
somebody else on this is like, do you think, let's say, I don't know who's the best, Aaron Judge. If Aaron Judge was like, okay, hey, Hal, can you like give me $2 million on the side? Like, do you think they get side like little? Is that far fetched to think that, or
I
like
know in
would word
hockey
get out?
they can't give that much, because then they had that problem, but then the bonus system, the bonus structures were outweighing what their contracts were, because the bonuses was like, okay, if you play 3 games, here's $8 million bucks. Like
Right.
it got ridiculous. So like they found a way around it, so your bonus structure can't do that. But then they don't have the deferred payments that baseball has, and but I'm sure like that's why these bonuses are so big too, that these guys get. That's just astronomical. Football, like you talked yesterday, like watching a little bit yesterday, watching some games, and guys getting, if they were 2 sacks away from getting $1 million, or 2 receptions away from getting 750 grand, and on it goes. So like there's always a way around it, and and maybe that's the way sports should be. Like I said this way before I started doing this crap, is why don't they just have every player makes 300 grand. That's a low bar. But then you create your own bonus system after that. Because if I'm a defenseman in the National Hockey League, or if I'm a catcher, if I'm a pitcher, for every strikeout I get $1,000. I know those are low numbers.
Can you imagine the effort level? I
So
mean,
the effort level would increase immensely. And then if we like now, because now, like I know, like if teams win a Stanley Cup or a World Series, they get $1 million or 750 grand or whatever the number is. It's a good chunk of change. But if you made that winning more important, so then you'd have more effort just on the personal basis. That for guys, bonuses would be how huge, because going from like, and make them attainable things. Like, don't make us say you got to get 300 strikeouts in a season to make another $1 million. Like, make them attainable. But the effort you would get out of guys, and you wouldn't have guys who aren't going to play back to backs. You're going to have guys who aren't sitting out in four out of 5 games, or whatever it might be. Yeah, my shoulders tweaked a little bit. They're like, well, I got to make money. So, and because all these athletes and like, they're all just guys. Like, no matter what, we'd be watching no matter who's playing. It's like, yeah, okay, these guys are great. That guy's great. That guy's great. But there's somebody else that, like, you cheer for the laundry, not naming the back of the laundry, right? So it doesn't matter who's playing. Like it's nice to have guys who are great. It's nice to have generational guys to watch and guys to talk about. But it doesn't matter who's playing. Somebody else is always coming out of the minor leagues or out of college. So the effort that you would get out of these guys for longer periods of time, because you can't tell me that a guy who's on the 10th year of his contract and he's already got 380 million in the bank, if he's going to give a shit. I'm just playing out the string here, man. But if you have a set system where these guys can make some money and they have to attain their bonuses, that might be more entertaining. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, you would.
I mean, that's a fantasy world, obviously.
I mean, I get, because you're looking at it from a brand perspective, like the Otanis, the Aaron Judges, like if you didn't have those guys, it's like, would you worry about the brand? But baseball is always, I think baseball is maybe an exception or the outlier as far as they just don't market their guys. We talked about that how many times but it goes in like hand in hand. Like there would be another, I'm not saying there'd be another Aaron Judge or Otani, but like somebody on the Yankees would get press, even if it's Volpe and he doesn't deserve it, like somebody would get it. So I agree with you. I can't imagine what goes on behind closed doors with these like owners and things. But if I was one of those owners and, I'm looking, like if I'm the owner of the Pirates and I'm like, why don't we just sit down and like control these guys, like the players? Like, why don't all the owners sit down and they're like, we don't have to do this. Like we can't. And it's the same thing with the bowl games. Like we were talking about earlier, like I was watching a guy on a Penn State podcast and he's like my age, but he talks old school. And he's talking about how like, we don't have to accept this though. Like we can say, oh, this guy's preparing for the NFL. He's looking out for his best interests. He's looking out for his generational wealth with kids, but from a fan perspective, we can push back and say, like, that's BS. Like, you
And I
signed up
agree.
to play at Michigan or Penn State or USC. You play every game that, like, you're medically cleared to play, you play. And, like, if something happens, so be it. Like, that's like, you know, a firefighter. I'm not going to that fire because I might get hurt. You signed up for the job, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
The time and investment that fans put in is probably more than what the player puts in.
At a fraction of what the players make most of the time. I mean, you know, you got your outliers, but
yeah,
it's I mean, it's BS for lack of it's insane. And like you said, like, I don't know about you, maybe I'm just like a sour puss because I was actually at the bar with my buddy yesterday and we were watching who was it, Colts and Texans, and like there was one of those graphics that came up. They're like, oh, if this guy gets a reception, it's another 750,000. And my buddy's like, man, if I made them 1 year, I'd be excited. I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it piss you off, doesn't it? Like, I mean, really, like we're looking at
it's crazy, and like how they come up with these numbers, and because it's got to be something that the owners are hoping that they don't get. Although
they'll hold guys out sometimes, and then
other times they want this, and they can say, okay, well, we can pay you this, and we don't have to pay you that, and it keeps the salary down, I guess. But there's got to be times where like having those negotiations the agent puts together. That's got to be something else. Like the agent sits in there with the GM, says, yeah, you're doing this, you're doing this. No, I'm not. And then they have a battle back and forth about how those contracts come together. It'd be something else. Like the first time, like they started talking about $1 million, right? Like you unheard of for an athlete making $1 million. Now it's just nothing. Now we're talking about guys making 50, 60, 70 million a year.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy. Like I remember back in, what was it, 2000 and why am I drawing a blank right now? 2001, when A-Rod got his first deal at 10 years, $25 million. They're giving those out like Cracker Jacks now.
Oh, guys, you don't even know their name.
Here's 25 for you. Basketball, here you go. Here's 50, 60. Play half the games. Here, whatever. We don't care.
Well, I heard this. I forget. I was talking to somebody. I don't know. Probably somebody I just met through work or something. Long story short, he was talking about how he used to go up to the Eagles training camp, and this was, eons ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he said the players would, they'd be at the training camp at the college, and then most of them in the evenings are bagging groceries. And he's like, can you imagine, like, thinking about these guys?
Yeah.
Like, they don't even go to the grocery store themselves. Like, they have somebody do that for them.
Wouldn't have a clue what a grocery store looked like.
They're so far removed. And you talk about like the Bryce Harpers and these spoon-fed guys that have never experienced. Like, I'm not saying they haven't experienced.
Aaron, I would bet you there's a percentage of those guys that don't even carry a wallet. I'll bet you. Yeah. It's all like when they go out, it's all taken care of by the time they get there, or someone's already paid. What I bet they don't even carry a wallet with them. They got so much money. I'll bet you.
It's
that the car's been taken care of. Like, they have their assistant takes care of everything, and then when they're done at the restaurant, the restaurant calls the assistant up and he says, "How much? Yeah, here's a tip." Yeah, the guy doesn't even carry a wallet. I put money on it.
I don't know. It's great and easy for me to say. I'm not even close to that position, but like what I enjoy, like, sure, it's easier for me to say, no, I wouldn't enjoy that because I don't have it. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, when your life is it's like autonomy. It's just like, I don't know. I'm sure it's cool. Don't get me. You go to the best, you get the best steak, you go to the best whatever. But I don't know. That's just crazy. Like, I mean, if you're is being Aaron Judge fun? I'm sure it is. I'm not trying to diminish it, but like, is there ever a time he's like, damn, I wonder what it's like to be kind of just normal, like just a guy?
I'll bet you it's tough.
Tougher than you would think.
Like, I would bet you it's tough. Like, I would, like, in this extenuating circumstance a little bit because of what he went through with his addiction problems. But Josh Hamilton, when he went through all his crap and he ended up getting something happened. I can't remember what happened there. He went and had a beer, something in his life, and he was done his crack addiction. I shouldn't be laughing at his crack addiction, but he went through all this stuff, and then something else when he went through, and it was a hot day, and he just decided to go have a beer. Just really simple thing. And all of a sudden, pictures are being taken up on that blah blah TMZ, everything all over the Twitter sphere. And he's like, I went for a beer. It was hot, and I had a shitty day. Like that was it. And so these guys can't even just go down to the local watering hole and have a drink. Like they have to close the place down. They have to go to certain places. Like I'm not crying the blues for him, but there would be things that it would be tough to do because you just don't have any freedoms to just do what the average Joe does. Like you don't like once you got that kind of money, you don't know who your friends are. Like you don't know who like your old buddies from back home. You don't get to go and hang out with them. Like when you go back home, they might go to your parents' house and hang out. You can't go to back to the El Dorado Hotel and twist a few off. Like you just can't anymore. There's always somebody looking to pick a fight with you or to go to get in your ear about something or whatever it might be. Like it would be. I mean, there are a lot of benefits, but it wouldn't be rainbows and unicorns all the time. I don't think.
I don't think so either. I think about these like just circumstances I'll never actually be in, but it's like if you're Anthony Volpe and you kick how many errors he made this year and you're playing in Jeter's shadow per se. I know it's not really like that, but I don't know, like him growing up, I just would love to talk to these guys behind closed doors where it's like because he grew up in Jersey or New York, just like that he got exactly what he wanted, and then once he gets there, I just wonder if it's like I just wonder. I think all the time it's like, do all these guys look forward to that? Like, is he sitting there like, oh man, like he's looking at the calendar like spring training is not that far away? Like, damn. Like I'm and I hate to be like negative Nancy, but I look at it from like they're all human beings. Like at some point, like when like Joey Gallo, he got absolutely chewed up and spit out from New York. Were there times he was probably like, I just want to retire now, like not tomorrow, like tonight, and I'm sure.
Well, you look what earlier in this NFL season, what Joe Burrow, he was going through some stuff between his ears, right? And he's like, this isn't fun. Like, it's not fun ananymore. Like, we're getting our teeth kicked in. Everybody's mad at me. I can't do anything. So
you can't escape it. And
there's prime example number one. And to the unreal expectations that get put on these guys out of college that you're going to be the savior of the Cincinnati frickin' Bengals. No, you're not. You're just not. Like, yeah, you might put up some numbers, you might make the playoffs, but did anybody think that the Cincinnati Bengals in the last 4 years or 5 years since Burrow got there were winning themselves a Super Bowl? No, except for stupid Bengal fans, right? And that's just the facts. When that gets, that's got to get to you, because you can't just let off some steam. You can't just go get away from it. And nobody wants to hear how tough things are between your ears, because they say, well, go cry in your heaps of money. Well, yeah, but that still doesn't take away from how much my job sucks.
Right, and you can't get away. Like that's the thing too. With I mean, if I was an athlete, I wouldn't have social media. Like I would. There's no way I'm making it, or I'm turning all the comments off on every post, because like people will just as soon as you make one mistake. Like when Judge dropped that ball in the playoffs, I mean, he's probably getting death threats. The second that happened, it's just like we've gotten so, I guess, comfortable as people that like online, and I engage in a little bit of it. It's like talking trash and whatnot, but it gets to the point where, like you said, Brent, I don't know, like if I'm Burrow running out of that tunnel every week, and then you're seeing news, like, and I know these guys try to ignore it, but you can't, like,
there's no way.
You turn on TV, oh, I'm getting talked about it. Oh, the newspaper's saying I'm not good enough. And for a lot of these guys, they've never experienced that too, because they've been the best their whole career. And it's like I know Trevor Lawrence for the longest time didn't lose a game, and then he goes to the NFL and he's like, they're not making the playoffs most of the years he's there, and it's like that starts to work itself into your head. Like as much as I love sports and I enjoy it for what it is, sometimes I really don't envy this. Like as cool, yeah, you're the man, but it's a lot bigger than like just a couple hours. And then I see these like Hard Knocks clips, and I'm like, I'll give it to them. Like those guys they're in those facilities. Like I don't know if I like sports that much. I really don't. Like I enjoy watching the game, but would I want to be in, hitting baseball 6 hours a day for 10 years in a row? I don't know if I'd want to do that. I don't know.
Think of that guy who missed that game-winning field goal last night in Baltimore. Rookie kid, right? He might as well kick that thing backwards. That's how much he missed by. And that he'll be like, teams out of the playoffs. Were they going to win anything? No. But stupid fans were all over social media. They're killing this kid. The Baltimore Ravens aren't winning a Super Bowl this year. So what he got him one less game. Really? And if you leave it up to a stupid freaking kicker, you're probably going to lose. Yeah, they get paid to make those, but sometimes they miss them. So do a whole bunch of things better throughout the season, and you're not worried about a rookie kicker saving your season. Like to go after a kicker like these guys were doing. I was listening to something this morning. To go after a rookie kicker like fans were doing, the media's doing. Go after Lamar Jackson's making $45 million here who had a bad season. Go after him. So why are we in a one game winner take all situation? It's that guy's fault, not that kicker. I don't even know the kicker's name.
And that's the thing too. Like you could, unless you're winning like a Super Bowl or something, or I don't even know if like an AFC championship would carry that much weight. Like on a game winning kick, like the amount of kicks that you miss in big moments will way outweigh. Because I remember Vinatieri was like clutch. Every time the Colts or the Patriots, both of them needed something, like he got it. But now he's a long lost memory. People still bring up like that Billy Cundiff that was on the Ravens and he shanked that one that like they were going to beat the Patriots. And who remembers ones he hits? Like no one talks about that. That's almost like you're signing up for a position where you get a little bit of praise, but you get all the they rain on your parade when you mess up. Especially
you're supposed to make every one of them, right?
Yeah, especially in a big moment, like when you need it. I don't know. Kicking's like and the psyche, like those, because you're on the sideline all the time until you have to do it.
Like no one talks to you.
Yep.
You're just another kicker or whatever. There's another guy who's going to come take your job next week if you miss these ones. They're so disposable. Like it's
like a quarterback he can flush a bad drive because he's right back out there. Like that mentally, I could maybe process that, but like being a kicker, if he went over his, for the first 4 next year, I wouldn't be like, I get it. Like that's your job. You do it all the time, but easier said than done when everybody's just on top of you. Like
I couldn't do it. No, I'm softer than baby shit between these ears, man. I couldn't do it. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, no, I can't do that shit. No, Aaron, this is a lot of fun, man. Thanks for inviting me to come on, and we got to get doing this in the early in January here. Yeah,
it's kind of I don't know. You and I kind of feel the same. I actually did enjoy that Steelers game last night. First NFL game I enjoyed it kind of a little bit, but outside of that, man, it's college football is winding down. It's almost like we need to get baseball going, so I figured I'd reach out. This is kind of a weird time. I never really enjoy.
Actually, we'll get ended here, but I read something yesterday, and I kind of put something out on Twitter. January is a bad month for sports fans, really, when it comes down to it, because your NFL team is probably either they didn't make the playoffs or they're going to be beat out shortly. College football's done. If your team's not playing this week, it was a failed season, I guess. NHL, if your team's shitty, they're probably not making the playoffs. So you already have that between your ears. That season's done, and then you have a baseball that's not here yet, and like my team hasn't made a move yet, so I'm already thinking doom and despair for the Yankees season coming up. So January for a sports fan isn't the best month by any means. Like I know it has some high moments, but if your team isn't doing very good, man, oh man, January kind of sucks.
It's the have and the have-nots. I am shocked that the Yankees haven't. I don't know who's really left in the. I know there's that Rangers Suarez is still out there, I guess. I just know because he's Philly, but I'm trying to think who. Bo Bichette is, I guess, on a hot name out there, but this class I don't think is too deep. From what I understand, but
yeah, it's. And like we said earlier, like how much money are you going to spend on one season if they're not going to play the next year? Like you take the fall and say, well, all are good. I don't know.
I'm a little worried about that if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, because the players are stupid and the owners are dumber. Like it's they need each other to exist, but I think the players need the owners a lot more than the owners need the players because somebody will always be there to play for less, no matter what. And is it a high level? No, but if you put a different or the same jersey on somebody who's playing in AA, the average guy's not going to know, right? Like what's other than your massive superstars like the Aaron Judge, Ohtani's obviously, and the like, and then your pitchers like Skeens. a AAA guy is to the average fan he's a major leaguer, right? So major leaguers better watch themselves. They really better.
And you got that crop of guys. It's not like, the NFL, you can't just pick, I'm going to go take that guy from USC and have him play this week. Like baseball, you get the call, you're there.
You're in. Yeah. So it's tough. Anyways, it's hopefully we don't get to that point in 12 short months, but that's it. Yeah. No, Aaron, thanks a lot for doing this. So we'll have to get again and give Joey my regards next time you talk to him.
Yep. Every time. Yep.
The 1420 Sports Bar. Oh, actually, Aaron, tell us everybody where they can hear your stuff.
Yeah, I've been kind of cranking. I told not a New Year's resolution. I try not to, because then I don't do it. But I just said I want to be better at posting on TikTok. So on TikTok at Brutally Honest Sports _ Twitter at Brutally Honest, and then Spotify and all the stuff like you do. But yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I always try and reach out to you, and I didn't hear. Maybe I haven't listened to your show enough, but who do you have win the Super Bowl this year? Or do you have any type of deal on it?
Actually, for some unknown reason, I think that the San Francisco 49ers win the Super Bowl.
It's a California Super Bowl, so
I really have a feeling because McCaffrey's really good, and I just think that Purdy protects the ball enough. I just think that they might be able to pull it off. I don't know why, because they're just under the radar a little bit, and I think everybody else going to beat up on each other. I just have a feeling. Yeah.
Very well could be. They play the Eagles first, so it's. That's why I
didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. It's fun. We'll see. It's. I don't think the Steelers are doing it. Sorry, Jim, but
they're not.
I don't think he thinks that they are either. But
they're not. No, I listened to him this morning. I'm pretty sure he's. I think Jim's kind of one of those guys that I think Steelers fans in general were maybe hoping for them to lose last night to miss the playoffs, and they can finally make a change at the coaching position. Like, what are we doing? Like 9-8, 10, and just lose in the first round, and you're done.
They're always my like when the Eagles aren't playing, I'll shoot them on, and I'm like, yeah. I was rooting for them hard last night, and I was like, but then I was thinking, is it better if they were just because it's the same thing. It's like the Yankees. I hate to throw shade at it. It's just running it back, and I don't know.
And for what? What are we getting? Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Tomlin got a good gig there. He's like the weatherman. He just stay where you're at.
That's my next career move, weatherman. Hey, that's a good gig, eh? You could be wrong, whatever. In fact, you're not even wrong.
Some of the time,
you could say that there's a 50% chance to ring because there's a 50% chance it's not going to. Done. And you're not wrong. Oh, see, 50%. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's all you need.
20 Sports Bar podcast for Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcast. Talk to people at the show. And remember, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Have yourselves a great day, folks, and we will talk to you later on. Thanks for tuning into the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel or wherever it is